What's up, guys? Eric Perry, Focus Fishing Guide Service, Table Rock Fishing Intel. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, January the 31st. Beautiful day outside. It's, I think, 16, 17 degrees. Got a nice glaze of ice with a little bit of snow on top of it here in beautiful spring Vegas, even worse down by the lake. I haven't done a video in a couple of weeks. To be brutally honest with you guys, I have not spent a whole lot of time on the lake the last couple of weeks between boat show commitments, rigging the new boat, and just other things. It seems like whenever I've got time to go, the weather's not been cooperating. I think in the last 2 weeks I've been on the water about 4 or 5 times, so I will tell you what I know from where I've been, but hopefully this weather's going to break either tomorrow or Thursday, and we'll get back on the water with a little bit more regularity. I've got a few trips booked through the next 7 to 10 days, so hopefully I'll have a lot better intel for you guys next week. Lake level, we're at 914.4 basically. We had got up above 915 last week. The Corps has been running a ton of water the last 2 or 3 days, primarily to meet electrical demands. I think they've had at least 2 generators running pretty much around the clock, with boosting it up at peak demand times at night up to 4 generators, so they're definitely drawing the lake down. There is a lot of current in the lake right now. As far as water temperature, I have not been out since Sunday. When I was out on Sunday, we were 47, 48 degrees. So, you know, the water temperature really hadn't dropped much. I'm not sure what these last few cold nights and this snow and freezing rain and everything has done to it. I would guess it's probably dropped down around the mid 40s, but we'll know more by the end of the week when I get on the water. But the bite has been good the few times I've been able to fish. You know, best way to know what's going on, best way to stay on top of it, of course, join Table Rock Fishing Intel. We have had some of our other guides that have been out, both chasing crappie and bass, and they've put some pretty good reports out. There's been some pretty rough reports too, but you know, that's the nice thing about it. Our guys aren't going to sugarcoat it. If they're not catching them, they're going to let you know they're not catching them. If they are catching them, they are going to let you know you're catching them. But if you're coming down, say you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, I guess it was 2 weeks ago was the last time I was on the lower end, and it was okay. It was certainly not great. The best bite we had was deep, basically with a Demiki rig, the scope spin, and a scuba spoon and ice jig. Those kind of been the 4 go-to baits. I really haven't drop shotted a whole lot this winter. The key though is finding shad. You've got to find shad. Even if there's fish around and there's no shad, the fish have not been active. The majority of the shad I'm finding are either in the mouths of the creeks or on the main lake, and they are a lot deeper than we normally like to see them. By deeper, I mean I've seen shad as deep as 100 feet deep, over 150. It's hard to get those fish down there that deep to bite. So I'm really targeting the fish that are a lot shallow, well, not necessarily a lot shallower, but are shallower, in that 50 to 70 foot range. If I can find shad, usually on main lake gravel where it rolls off into the deeper water, if I can find shad there, those are the fish I'm targeting. I'm not really chasing those fish that are out over 150 or 200 feet deep, even though the shad may be down there with them at 100, 120 feet. I just have a hard time getting those fish to bite. Go in the mid-lake area. Now, had Baddock was out on the mid-lake area, caught him pretty good on a rig, basically looking for fish around brush and around trees. Most of the fish he caught in the mid-lake were in that 40 to 50 foot range around trees. He did catch a few up shallower when he had a warmer day. We had a little bit of wind around the brush piles, so A-rig bites working, deep bites working down there as well with a Demiki scope spin, scuba spoon and ice jig, just like everywhere else. But again, you've got to find shad. We had some shad moving back into the creeks in the mid-lake, but with them kicking on the generators like we just talked about, a lot of those shad have been sucked back out either the mouths of the creeks or out on the main lake. So look for those shad. Again, look for those shad that are a little bit shallower. You can, if you look around enough, you can find some schools of shad that are shallower than 100 feet deep. Matter of fact, I know that I've seen some up the White River that have been basically right below the surface recently. So look for those shallower shad. You'll have a lot more success. You can go up in the James. I haven't been up in the James. I talked to a couple other guys that have been up in the James. Been a decent shallow bite up the James, primarily with either a jerkbait like the Megabass Vision 110 +1 or the Spromic Stick +1. They're targeting fish in 20 foot deep or less, transition areas where you go from big rock to small rock, especially if you got some cover around. Brush pile, standing timber, anything like that. Wind will help that bite quite a bit. They're also catching a few on an A-rig in those same areas. You know, they're catching fish around cover up the James. So if you're gonna go up the James, look for those fish to be around cover, either brush piles or standing timber or even docks. So we caught a lot of fish around docks up the White. But any sort of cover is where those fish are gonna be. And again, remember the wind will certainly help that bite. A few guys catching them on a crankbait, but most of the guys I talked to were it's either a stick bait or a A-rig. Up the White River, did fish up the White River on Saturday and Sunday. Found them shallower than I expected to. I mentioned I found some shad that were way up in the water column. They were in the mouth of a creek. These shad were over 80 foot of water, but they were down 25. The school was 25 deep to about 40 feet deep. And we caught fish both mixed into those shad and over top and below those shad. And those fish were coming on a Demiki rig, caught a couple on a scope spin, caught some on the scuba spoon, and caught some on a jigging wrap. But those fish, like I said, were a lot shallower. We found a lot of really deep shad out on the main lake. You know, shad that the top of the school is at 100, the bottom of the school is down at 120. Fish around them couldn't get them to bite. But when we found those shallower shad, that's where we got bit. So that's definitely a key. Didn't really throw an A-rig, but did talk to Travis. He's been up a little bit further up the White, and he caught him on a jerkbait and caught him on a crankbait over the weekend. Mostly Spromic Stick or the Megabass Vision 110. He throws that Strike King deeper one as well, and he caught him doing that, and he caught a few on a rock crawler as well. Those fish are a lot shallower. Again, wind helped that bite. He was out on Saturday when it was really windy, and he said wherever the wind was crashing up against the bank, he could certainly get bit on a jerkbait or a crankbait. So keep that in mind if you're going to fish this weekend with the weather turning nice. Guys, we're done with January. Hopefully we're done with this weather. We're going to be into February, and by the looks of the forecast, we're going to be back in the 40s and 50s for the next 10 to 12 days, which will be great. Get us back on the water quite a bit, get a lot more reports. We got the BFL coming up here in a couple of weeks, I guess 3 weeks from this weekend. So you're gonna have a lot of guys on the water, a lot of guys looking for fish. Best way to know what's going on, best way to stay on top of it, join Table Rock Fishing Intel, become a pro member, and get those reports, those daily reports, weekly reports, all the videos, all that information we put out on a daily basis to help you catch more fish on Table Rock Lake. If you're coming down, want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743. Either hit my website, focusfishing.com, either shoot me an email or book online. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. But guys, thanks for watching the videos. Again, check out Table Rock Fishing Intel if you haven't done so. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.